folks, hope you're okay. Welcome back to the gym. It is me, Andy Chadwick, and I've got another Friday Fitness for you. Now this week I want to look at the hips, how stable they are and how well you can balance on one leg to be able to perform a glute bridge, which is going to help you in your golf swing. Now when we look at golfers like Tiger Woods, who has said that in the past that he can't feel his glutes firing, they're not working, they're not firing properly. We actually mean there that we're just not coordinating with the glutes in the golf swing. So if we use times when he's had an issue, and we'll cut to a clip of it, he said in the past here that his swing doesn't feel right because his glutes aren't firing. It's not that they're not firing, it's a case of they're firing but in a sequence that isn't working with his golf swing. So what we want to look at with today's exercise and with today's workout is making sure that we can actually activate them, but we can also feel them working in a movement. Okay, so we're going to kind of test how strong our hips are, how strong our glutes and hamstrings are, and lower back are working together, so that posterior chain, how well that's working together. And we're going to give you a couple of different adaptations to it, so progressions and regressions. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come down onto the floor, and I'm going to go lying onto my back, and I'm going to bring my heels roughly close to my butt, probably looking at maybe hands distance. So you can pretty much lie your hands down by your butt, and that's how far the heels are going to go. Now from here, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt my back, my lower back, into the floor. All of a sudden, I'm going to feel my hips are tilted, which is the pelvic tilt, and from here, I'm going to drive up. Straight away, when I get to the top, my lower back is still flat. I'm keeping my core engaged, so from the hips to the shoulders are locked in, but I'm feeling that tightness through my glutes and my hamstrings. My heels are really locked into the floor here, and I can feel everything from the glutes and the hamstrings to the adductors. They're all pinching. I've held it for maybe 10 seconds here, and then I'm going to come back down to the floor. Again, tilt the pelvis, push that lower back into the floor, drive up to the top. You should feel the glutes, the hamstrings, the adductors activate, and I'm having to hold everything stable here. Now if I'm going to progress this movement now, everything should be in sync, in sequence. I'm going to go up into my glute bridge, so I'm tilting my lower back, get that pelvic tilt, driving on up. Now from here, I'm going to test both legs. I'm going to come up, and I'm going to hold that leg in line. From here, that glute activation, that hamstring activation, that back activation is really going to have to switch on. When I've done maybe 5-10 seconds, I'm going to switch it over. Again, lock the glute, lock the hamstring in place. Bring that other leg up and hold it here. The other thing we're looking for with this position is the hips, are they staying level? So what I'm going to show you here, I'm going to lock everything in place. So I'm going to come back down. I'm going to lock everything in place, drive it on up. As I raise up my right leg now, if I'm not locked in place and my hamstrings and glutes aren't activating, we're going to see that the right hip drops down. This is a massive over-exaggeration here, but we're going to see that the right hip drops down. We want to keep everything locked in and keep those hips in place. So to do this, we've got to be able to switch them on. This is where it comes in that we want to switch them on. You get that pelvic tilt, you drive up to the top, you bring that one foot up, keeping that hamstring, that glute, and that lower back connected, keep the stomach tight, lock everything in place, keep the hips nice and level, bring the foot down and back. So with this, we can go maybe 5-10 reps on the pelvic tilt and then add the glute bridge in. We can then go to single leg with a hold and make sure that we're focusing on the hip staying level. So we're looking at both the bilateral and the unilateral, so double leg and single leg. From here, I'm going to give you a variation that can take it a little bit further if you're really doing that perfectly and still struggling. Okay, we're going to take a foam roller here, and I'm going to place it onto the floor. I'm going to go into my position, but this time I'm going to put my feet onto the roller. I'm going to pelvic tilt, my lower back touching the floor, and I'm going to drive my hips up. I can really feel my hamstrings and glutes activating here, and I'm having to keep the foam roller still. Now if I wanted to take it further, the next thing I'm going to do is lock that hip in place and bring that foot up. I'm going to hold it for maybe 5 to 10 seconds here, keeping those hips level again, and back down. I'll switch it over, keep everything locked in place, and back up. Now again, we're watching for whether that hip drops or not, but if we've got the hamstring, the glute, and that core and that lower back are certainly in line, locked in place, there should be no dropping of the hip. Bringing it back down and down. So with this, we're not only looking at the pelvic tilt, we're looking at the glute bridge, both bilaterally, double leg, or unilaterally with single leg. We're looking at whether the hips are dropping on one side. So the leg that we raise up, if the hip drops, that's an indication that we're not able to hold the glute, the hamstring, and the hips in place. We need to work on that. Big thing with the progression is make sure you're ready for it. You should be able to hold those hips stable and parallel, that they're not dropping before you move on. Maybe 2 to 3 sets, 5 to 10 reps on each leg with a 5 to 10 second hold is going to be perfect for you. What you're going to see with this is when you've got stronger at that, the glutes are firing all the time. You're able to hold each hip level, stable. As you swing and rotate, you're able to control that movement a lot more through the hips. Folks, I hope this helps. Enjoy your week, put this into your workout routine, and I'll be back next week with another Friday Fitness. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe to the content, and check out other videos in the series. And if you've got any questions about our 60-day program, go ahead and send us an email or a comment, and we'll get back to you as quick as we can. But I'll see you all next week for Friday Fitness. Peace out.